Hello, inner shifters, how you doing? Your host, Sophia here. Rest isn't just a break in your fitness routine, it's the actual engine of progress. It's where your body whispers, thank you, where healing happens, strength builds, and resilience takes root. When people think of fitness, they often picture the hustle, the sweat, the reps, the grind. But the truth, rest is where recovery happens, and recovery is where transformation begins. Think of your body like a sculptor. Every time you exercise, you hand your body the chisel. You challenge it with stress, resistance, momentum. But the masterpiece isn't formed during the chiseling, it's shaped in the stillness that follows. That's the rest day. That's when your body goes to work building something out of the work you did. Those sore muscles, tiny tears in the tissue, elevated heart rate, they're all signals that your system is ready to rebuild. And it can't do that if you never stop. Clara learned this lesson the tough way. She was in a new phase, new gym membership, new leggings, new burst of motivation. She went hard. 5 workouts a week, sometimes 6, no excuses. And for a while, it felt great. Her energy soared, her sleep improved, her confidence bloomed. But then the fatigue crept in. She started waking up feeling heavy, even after full nights of sleep. Her joints ached. She felt puffy, emotionally short-fused, and just off. I'm doing everything right, she said. But one look at her calendar showed me she'd forgotten rest days completely. Her body wasn't lagging because of a lack of effort, it was lagging from too much. So we made a gentle shift. She started penciling in 1 rest day each week, then 2. At first, it felt wrong, like slacking, like falling behind. She'd itched to do just a little movement. But the moment she embraced the pause fully, everything changed. Her energy returned, her skin cleared, her digestion smoothed out. She said, "It's wild, I'm stronger now that I'm doing less." And she wasn't wrong. Her body finally had the time it needed to integrate the work she'd been putting in. You see, rest days aren't passive, they're productive. They're when your muscles repair those micro tears from strength training. When your nervous system settles back to baseline. When your hormones regulate, your immune system strengthens, your mood recenters. It's where your fitness grows quietly beneath the surface. Mateo's story adds another layer. He's more of a runner, long distances, marathon-style focus. But one season, he plateaued. No matter how much he trained, his speed wouldn't improve. His endurance stalled, he thought he needed more miles, more intervals, more effort. But what he needed, more rest. So he started experimenting. He added full rest days, plus active recovery days, slow walks, foam rolling, mobility work. Within weeks, his performance started climbing again. It was like I was finally giving my body permission to breathe, he said. And it made him faster, not just on paper, but in how he felt while running. That's the quiet truth behind rest. It unlocks your potential, it stabilizes the gains. It ensures the effort doesn't burn out before the results bloom. And rest doesn't have to look like complete inactivity. Some rest days are about sleep-ins and good books. Others are about gentle stretching, nourishing meals, meditation, maybe even a walk under the trees. It's not about doing nothing, it's about doing what restores you. What recharges the system you push so hard during those workouts. Even psychologically, rest days recalibrate your relationship with fitness. Without pause, movement becomes obsession. You start fearing breaks. You chase results at the cost of joy. But when you honor rest, you begin to trust your body's wisdom. You start listening more. You start moving with yourself, not against yourself. Clara said she now looks forward to rest days like mini holidays. She calls them healing invitations. Your body is brilliant, it adapts, evolves, strengthens, but it needs time. Just like seeds in soil, the growth happens between the rains. Not during the pounding, but during the stillness. And this isn't just for elite athletes. It's for anyone showing up to move. Whether you're walking, dancing, strength training, cycling, swimming, you need recovery. You need those days when your muscles get to breathe, when your brain gets to let go, when your cells get to repair. Matteo once called rest days the invisible workouts. I love that. Because just like sleep powers your waking life, rest days power your active training. Without them, your progress is a shaky house built on sand. But with them, solid foundation, rooted strength. So if you're feeling stuck in your routine, or drained even when you're doing everything right, consider the possibility that your body isn't broken, it just hasn't been given the rest it needs to shine. There's no shame in taking a day off. In fact, it's a sign of wisdom, maturity, trust. It means you know your wellness isn't a sprint, it's a rhythm. Your body will thank you for the pause, your mind will soften in the silence. And when you return to movement, you'll move with more clarity, more power, more presence. Rest helps prevent injury and burnout. And this one's powerful, because it's where the wisdom of the body meets the wisdom of the heart. It's the part of your fitness routine that says, I want to keep showing up, but I want to do it safely. I want to do it sustainably, I want to do it with care. Here's the truth that doesn't get shouted enough: pushing through pain, fatigue, or stress isn't noble, it's a warning sign. And if we ignore it for too long, that quiet whisper becomes a roar. The injury, the breakdown, the mental collapse. But the great news, it's preventable through rest, through rhythm, through listening. Clara learned this after her third strained muscle in less than 2 months. She was training for a 10K feeling ambitious and full of grit. I'm not a quitter, she used to say. She ran 5 days a week, squeezed in HIIT sessions between calls, tracked every mile. And then her knee started speaking up. Not loudly at first, just little aches, but she ignored them. She foam rolled, took ibuprofen, kept pushing. Until one morning, mid-run, it gave out completely. She sat on the curb crying, not from pain alone, but from frustration. I thought I was doing everything right, she said, voice cracking. And in many ways, she was. She was disciplined, focused, consistent. But the missing piece, recovery. True, full-hearted recovery. Not just sleep and supplements, but intentional rest. She hadn't given her body the space to replenish before asking more of it. So we rebuilt her routine, not weaker, not smaller, but wiser. We added scheduled rest days, low-impact recovery sessions, and mindset shifts that celebrated rest as progress. 3 months later, her knee was healed, her stress levels dropped, and her runs felt lighter. I move with more grace now, she told me, and less fear. That shift from pushing through to building with care is everything. Because burnout doesn't just show up as physical pain. It creeps in emotionally too. Your motivation dips, your joy evaporates. You stop looking forward to workouts and start seeing them as obligations. And when movement becomes a chore, that's your cue to pause. Matteo had a different journey. He's a high achiever type, always planning, always tracking, always reaching. His burnout snuck up quietly. No injury, no dramatic breakdown, just a slow erosion of excitement. One day, after a perfectly executed strength session, he sat in his car feeling nothing. No pride, no endorphins, no clarity, just blankness. He said, I didn't feel like me anymore. It took him weeks to admit it, but he'd stopped enjoying the process. The workouts were efficient, results were visible, but he was emotionally empty. So he took 2 weeks off. No lifting, no cardio, no guilt. He went on nature walks, he cooked elaborate meals. He journaled, slept in, let go. And when he returned to the gym, the fire was back. I didn't need a new program, he said. I needed permission to feel. Rest prevents more than injuries, it prevents emotional detachment. It keeps you connected to your why. It allows you to move from a place of joy, not just routine. And that matters more than any rep count, any milestone. And let's be clear, rest doesn't mean weakness. Elite athletes schedule recovery like they do training. The best lifters, runners, yogis, dancers, they know that what you do between sessions is just as important as the sessions themselves. Because muscles don't grow during workouts, they grow during recovery. Hormonal balance stabilizes in the quiet. Joints rehydrate, fascia releases tension, sleep deepens, breath resets. It's not a break from progress, it is the progress. Clara now uses her rest days to reconnect. She calls it her body gratitude practice. As she walks slowly, stretches intuitively, journals about what her body's carried her through. One entry read, "Thank you legs for showing up even when I push too hard. I promise to listen more, that's not indulgent, that's revolutionary." Matteo started adding nervous system resets into his rest days. No phones, no noise. Just quiet time with a cup of tea, staring out the window. He said his workouts became more efficient because he wasn't wasting energy trying to recover mid-movement. "I give my system time to catch up," he said, "now it doesn't lag." If you're someone who's afraid that rest will derail your momentum, remember this: fatigue builds silently. Injuries accumulate invisibly. And one moment of misalignment, one ignored signal, can sideline you longer than a day off ever would. But when you rest intentionally, you build longevity. You stay consistent because you're not constantly recovering. You stay injury-free because your body feels heard. Even your mindset shifts, you stop fearing setbacks, you start respecting the pause. You realize that healing, progress, and integration are woven into the rhythm of stillness. Clara now sees rest as her edge. "My body speaks louder during rest," she said. "And when I listen, everything shifts." That's the dance between motion and rest, between effort and grace. So if your body been whispering, aching a little more, feeling sluggish, losing that spark, it's okay to press pause. Not forever, just enough to reset, to restore, to realign. Rest boosts performance long-term. Because this one is both practical and poetic. It's not about temporary relief, it's about sustained growth. About allowing your body to flourish not just on the days you train, but on the days you do. Those pauses, they're not gaps in progress, they're the quiet scaffolding that holds it all together. You know how we often equate improvement with effort, the push, the grind, the sweat? It's easy to think that more equals better. More workouts, more reps, more challenges. But the truth your body knows, even when your mind forgets, is that rest is where the magic solidifies. That's where the growth becomes stable. And stability, that's the launchpad for next-level performance. Clara had been strength training for almost a year, diligent, inspired, showing up rain or shine, but she hit a wall. Her lift stopped progressing, her endurance dipped, and her motivation, it kind of fizzled. She kept asking, "Why am I stuck?" We looked at her logs, beautiful consistency, solid intensity, but not one mention of real rest. "I feel like stopping will make me backslide," she admitted. And that's the fear so many of us face. But what she didn't realize was that rest isn't retreat, it's reinforcement. So we introduced strategic rest. Not just random off days, but purposeful recovery embedded in her routine. Deload weeks, active rest days, longer sleep sessions, deeper hydration. At first, she worried. Would the numbers drop? Would the gains vanish? But no. Within 2 weeks, her performance rebounded. Not just back to baseline, but beyond. Heavier lifts, smoother form, brighter energy. "It's like I was running with a weighted vest," she said, "and I finally took it off." Matteo's story adds another flavor to this truth. He was training for a triathlon, his first. He had spreadsheets and checklists and color-coded plans. But halfway through his prep, his body started rebelling. Not in injury, but in frustration. His sleep suffered, his digestion got weird, his speed plateaued. And emotionally, he felt disconnected. I don't want to hate this, he told me, but I feel like I'm losing touch with joy. That right there was the signal. Because long-term performance isn't just about the physical, it's about mental clarity, emotional alignment, spiritual resilience. So we peeled back the schedule, built in mini breaks. Sunday rides became scenic meanders. Tuesdays were for breath work, not intervals. And the result, not only did his stats recover, his spirit did. He said something I'll never forget: rest didn't slow me down. It sped up my reconnection. And when race day came, he finished strong, not just in numbers, but in presence. In dignity, in love for the movement. The body adapts in response to stress, yes. But the adaptation happens during recovery. Muscles don't grow during a squat, they grow while you sleep. The nervous system doesn't settle during your last sprint, it calms when you step back. Even your cardiovascular system needs those quiet days to rebuild mitochondria, recalibrate rhythm, and boost endurance. It's biology, it's brilliance. Rest also balances hormones: testosterone, cortisol, leptin, insulin. So when those are aligned, you perform better. You digest better, you think clearer, you recover faster. Clara noticed her mood swings softened. Her PMS symptoms lightened. Her cravings evened out. That wasn't coincidence. That was her body re-regulating because she finally gave it room. And let's not forget creativity. During rest, the brain shifts from task mode to default mode. That's when new ideas form, strategies emerge, confidence rebuilds. You're not just healing muscle, you're mending perspective. Matteo said his best race tactics came during walks, not workouts. A stillness breeds insight, he laughed, and he wasn't wrong. There's also the long game to consider. Burnout doesn't arrive with a bang, it creeps in. It starts with tired mornings, then strained joints, then apathy. And if you're constantly pushing, you might not notice until it's too late. But rest creates checkpoints. It gives you time to ask, am I aligned? Am I enjoying this? Is my body still with me? Those questions protect your performance. They make sure your progress is sustainable, not fragile. And here's the most beautiful part: rest helps you fall in love with movement all over again. When you pause, you remember the why. Not just goals and metrics, but the feeling of power in your limbs, freedom in your lungs, and presence in your being. Clara started calling her rest days reunion days. A reunion with herself, with softness, with unpressured joy. Matteo even found that his confidence rose during rest weeks. Because instead of proving himself through motion, he allowed himself to trust the foundation he'd built. I realized I've earned the break, he said. And that made me feel strong. That kind of strength, it doesn't come from reps alone. It comes from rhythm, the ebb and flow, the inhale and exhale, the push and the pause. So if you've been resisting rest, worried it'll undo your progress or stall your goals, let me lovingly remind you, rest is not the enemy of effort. It's the partner of mastery. Give yourself the grace of a full recovery. Rest supports mental health and motivation. Because this is the soul of any fitness journey. The part that hums beneath the sweat and grit. The part that says you're not just a body to train, you're a whole being to love. So many people start working out to feel better mentally, to boost mood, find clarity, release stress. And movement absolutely gives that, it's medicine. But here's what often gets missed: just as movement boosts the mind, so does rest. And not as a side effect, but as a primary force. It restores emotional equilibrium, rekindles motivation, and keeps your heart aligned with your hustle. The way rest interacts with mental health is beautifully layered. When you take intentional pauses, your cortisol levels drop. That's huge because chronic elevation of cortisol, your stress hormone, creates mental fog, anxiety, irritability. Rest, especially when paired with gentle activities like breathwork or nature, helps recalibrate your stress response. It says we're safe now, you don't need to keep bracing, you can soften. And that's how long-term wellness is built. Not from rigid grind, but from a relationship of care. A rhythm of respect, a dance between effort and exhale. If you've been feeling mentally drained, even if your workouts are on point, this is your nudge to ask, when did I last truly rest? Not just sleep, not just breaks, but full-hearted rest, without guilt, without a timer, with presence. I thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, and do all those lovely things you wonderful people do. I'll see you next time.